How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the happy hour. I'm really excited about tonight. I got my dear friend Nicki Bloom in the house. And we've got a 4-piece band this time. We're moving up in the world. Thank you all for being here in the studio audience. I'm gonna start by playing a song that I wrote. It was on the last String Dusters record. You ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trip to nowhere, broken blacktop back roads on the dark side of the moon. Then he appeared like some kind of apparition, like a ghost or a magician from out of the gloom. And he said, it's a long and lonesome road traveled in. Don't know where you're going or where you come from. Got no reason to worry. Life goes on. But you gotta love yourself. You gotta love someone. And I woke up from that dream I've been dreaming, yeah. Sunlight streaming into the room. Yeah, things had changed. Felt like something had shifted, like weight had been lifted, not a moment too soon. And I said, it's a long and lonesome road traveling on. Don't know where you're going or where you come from. Got no reason to worry. Life goes on. But you gotta love yourself. You gotta love someone. If you're gonna love someone. I woke up, I was scared. Have my senses deceived me? I wondered, would my friends believe me or think I'd gone mad? So I stood still. I let go of the seeking till I heard a voice speaking from beyond the blue. And I said, it's a long and lonesome road traveling on. Don't know where you're going or where you come from. Yeah, I got no reason to worry. Life goes on. But you gotta love yourself. Gotta love someone. If you're gonna love someone. I feel like I should tune before I go any further. I hope you all had a good week. I had an interesting week myself.
What'd you do? How was it? Why was it interesting?
Thanks for asking, Tommy. Well, I went to Nashville is one thing I did, and I played some music with some friends, and that was really nice.
Nice.
And this is the oversharing part of the show. I think it's taken me, I think this is my 15th episode, and I'm finally going to overshare. It's about to happen. I discovered, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I discovered, this is a little unsettling. It's unsettling. I discovered this week that I'm angry, and that I have anger issues. And or rather that I've got stuff in me that's gone unaddressed and unprocessed, and it causes me to be agitated, and it expresses itself as frustration, impatience, and ultimately I'm realizing as anger. And I've said it before, avoidance is my favorite coping strategy. In fact, it might be my only coping strategy. So there are things in my life that I've avoided, like pain, loss, rejection, life events, things that we all experience. I honestly don't even know, because I've done a really good job of avoiding all of them, So I don't even know what these things are. I've never been really able to get deep enough into therapy to really uncover these things. So it leaves me in a bit of a predicament vis-a-vis this little show called The Happy Hour, and this illusory self that I've built, the happy bass player, or someone who is sort of always smiling, right? We'll call this Happy Travis. And this is the Travis that most of you know, because this is the Travis that I am most of the time when I'm playing music. So Happy Travis has painted himself into a little corner where there's an image that he's kind of required to project, right? I named my show The Happy Hour, after all, right? I was asking for it. But it's not always in alignment with who Travis is at any given moment. Like, there's no room in this persona for introverted Travis, or depressed Travis, or scared Travis, or resentful Travis, and I'm also those things, and I also have pain and hurt, and I have to make friends with this. And frankly, I'm terrified. And I always ask my guests what they're afraid of, and I usually say that I'm not afraid of anything. Because I'm not really afraid of bears, or death, or COVID, or people breaking into my house. I don't worry about these sort of things, but I realize that it's not true. I am actually afraid of digging in and turning over the stones of my past and the pain and the confusion that it'll lead to. And so, more than that, I'm realizing I'm afraid that I'll continue to live in denial and illusion without ever knowing and healing myself. And I'm afraid that I won't break the cycle, and my son will find himself on the cusp of 40, angry and alone and afraid. Like his dad. That's what I thought about this week. But I have a song that goes with it. And I remembered that I'd written this song. I need to pull the lyrics up to make sure that I sing it right. I remember that I wrote this song when Sarah and I moved to town. And ironically, we were sitting on the porch of the same house that Nicki Bloom is staying at this week. So it's all kind of full circle. Let me see. Let me get these lyrics out. I know this is like the least professional thing ever to have my iPhone out here, but I just want to make sure I get these words right. D? Yeah. He is gone into the cold. He is hiding from the light he has known down the road, and his shadow's coming closer as the moon goes over the hill. Still he runs, he can't stand another day as the man he's become, and his shadow's coming closer as the moon goes over the hill. What do we see when we are hiding? Where can we go when we're gone? Yeah, what will it take to break down? Show our faces and hide no more. I've been hiding every day, far away from the people that I love, too afraid of what they say and what is coming round the bend. It never ends. What do we see when we are hiding? Where do we go when we're gone? Yeah, what will it take to break down? Show our faces and hide no more. Yeah, what do we see when we are hiding? Where do we go when we're gone? Yeah, what will it take to break down? Show our faces and hide no more. So much for happy hour, huh? Don't worry, I'll bring it back. That's the game we play here. I do appreciate you all tuning in. This has been an interesting trip. You know, we've been doing this for about 9 months now. This is episode number 15. And we have 6 more to go. And then who knows what'll happen. I guess times are changing. Everyone's getting vaccinated and life moves on. So what do I do? Then the question becomes, well, what do I do? Well, I have to face my fears, or I have to learn to live with them. And I have to forgive myself, the people who've hurt me. I probably need to spend some time trying to understand some of these events and programming. The probably in there is the sound of my fear leaving the door open to not going to therapy. But above all, I have to have faith, and I have to quiet down, and I have to wait for grace. I think ultimately one has to kind of wait for grace. I have to do the work because the work and the practices alone will help to quiet me down, reduce my agitation. And I also have to accept that the process, the freeing myself from this pain, is going to take a little time. It's going to take a lot of honesty, and it's going to take a lot of grace. And this demands optimism and the ability to shift perspectives. And as Jonah Tolchin says, to see the beauty in the ugliest days. And that's what we're all confronted with, I think. Courage in your heart to ride with the wave. It's up to you to see the beauty in the ugliest of days. Have patience, my brother. Live in the moment, my sister. We're We're all on trial to see the beauty in the ugliest today. And when I call, I know you'll be there. And when I fall, I don't have to be scared, 'cause you called me now. You called me back then, taught me to see the beauty in the ugliest today. So you call you my friend with these tattered clothes, with this troubled mind to see the beauty in the ugliest today. And when I call, I know you'll be there. And when I fall, don't have to be scared, 'cause you call me now, and like you called me back then, you taught me to see the beauty in the ugliest today. Have courage in your heart to ride with the wave. It's up to you to see the beauty in the ugliest today. It's all up to you to see the beauty in the ugliest today. The Happy Hour House Band, Tommy Maher on the dobro, Mike Ashworth on the bass and the drums. Thanks again for tuning in. We're going to take a short break for our sponsors, and we will be right back with the fabulous Nikki Bloom.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is brought to you by Americana Vibes, presenting the new record Trance Banjo by the infamous String Dusters, Chris Pandolfi. Trance Banjo delivers a unique combination of modern, melodic banjo compositions, along with lush symphonic vinyl samples, beats, futuristic software instruments, strings, analog synths, and more. Look for Trance Banjo out now on Americana Vibes, wherever your music is found. This episode of the Happy Hour is brought to you in part by Area 22 Guitars in Brevard, North Carolina. Area 22 carries the finest in American-made acoustic instruments, boutique tube amplifiers, and boutique pedals. Visit in person in the Brevard Lumberyard District on King Street or online at area22guitars.com. If you're enjoying the happy hour, tip the band and crew anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or on Venmo at Travis Book. And once again, your host, Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you, House Band. God, I love you guys so much.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm almost in tears. You know, we also all have the same hairstyle, which is really sweet. You guys are the best. Hey, I know why you're here tonight, and it's to see this amazing and wonderful person that we know as Nikki Bloom. She's been my friend for a very long time, and I cannot wait to get her up here and talk to her. Please make welcome to the happy hour, the one and only Nikki Bloom. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Welcome to Western North Carolina.
Thank you. That's where we are. Okay, right.
That's where we are. That's where we are today. You doing okay?
Yeah, other than just like, you know, there's this whole added element now of like shows, which is the streaming live part.
Totally.
So I was just back there like trying to log into my Facebook page and I'm locked out because I'm in a different town and it's not recognizing it. So
I experience a little bit of that drama every time I do this show.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
But this is where, you know, I mean, everybody out there, wonderful. Everybody out here, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, we're together.
Yeah, and
Safely.
for those of you watching at home, you know, if you are in the area, we have it's all relatively safe. It's all relative, but it seems like a very safe little situation here. We're following
Feels
protocol,
good.
and it is a joy to have some of you joining us here. So, let's get into it. Nikki, you kind of came up in the California music scene. You formed Nikki Bloom and the Gramblers with your ex-husband and friends. That band was really built around your voice, I thought.
Well, thanks.
I mean, and I absolutely love the way you sing.
Thank you.
As someone said it to me last night, they were like, you know, it's like the old saying, she could sing the phone book. You know, it's just really wonderful. I wonder, how did you discover singing? And have you always sung? Has it always been a part of your life?
Yes. It has always been a part of my life. I think that the earliest memories, I think the like biggest musical impression as a kid was when Whitney Houston sang the national anthem.
Amazing.
In her like tracksuit. I was
Oh.
a huge Whitney Houston fan. I mean, just like studied every movement of her voice. Sorry, my dog is also a singer, and she's back there.
She can hear
If
your
you hear
voice.
her yelping. Yeah, I just want to be like, Birdie. But yeah, and so, you know, I never shared it with anybody, but I would always sing in the shower. My bathroom when I was a kid had really good acoustics, and I figured out if I like just put my head in the corner of the shower, I could get this amazing reverb, and it was cool as a kid. You know, you don't really know what's happening, but you know that like you're doing something that is pleasing to you.
Yeah.
And then I got into like, you know, I had like a double cassette tape recorder, and so you could put the tape in, and you could play your favorite songs. Then you could put the blank tape in, and then you could record harmony to that tape. So I spent hours in my bathroom as a kid. I had a goldfish, Ginger, and she lived, I got her when I was 8, and she lived until I was a freshman in college. And I think
Unprecedented.
it's because of two things. One, I sang to her all the time, and two, I feel like the Windex from cleaning the mirror above the sink, like, I don't know, it was like formaldehyde or like it preserved her in some really weird way.
Okay, I buy that.
But yeah, so Whitney Houston, singing in the shower, singing to myself, and then my brother just crushed that whole thing when we were on a road trip. I was probably, I don't know, 9, and he's got his headphones on, he's listening to his cassette tape, and he's like laughing, and he puts it on his best friend's ears, and his best friend starts laughing, and I'm like, what are you guys listening to? He puts it on my ears, and it's a recording of me singing the national anthem in the shower.
Oh.
And I'm just like mortified. I don't think I
Wow.
sang for a long time after that.
I mean, that's a fairly traumatic version of a story that's really common for people who want to sing. Is that all it takes is like at some point you open your mouth. I mean, and this happens with everything, anything creative. Anytime you're trying to be yourself, like one little. I always think about this with my kids, like. The things that I remember, I tell my dad little things that he said to me, and they've stuck with me, and he doesn't remember saying them. The littlest thing can really like derail something like that, and
Big
it's
time.
really sad. I was teaching an online workshop about finding your own voice, and that's something that I know a lot of people like. That's something that a lot of people have in common. There's like a moment where they kind of got like derailed from feeling like discovering their authentic self.
Totally. It takes a lot of work to just keep your spirit, to keep your inner world peaceful.
Yeah. So you were singing some, and then when your brother kind of broke your heart, what did it take for you to get back into it?
Oh, I don't know. I think just like Whitney Houston came out with another record, and I was like, ooh, I want to sing that song. I don't know. I mean, he was luckily the more like I have two brothers, two older brothers. He was the more outwardly loving brother, and so he probably apologized and was kind about it. And built me back up in some way.
He made it up to you, and then you found yourself in California, and you started singing with people.
Yeah. I was born and raised in Northern California. Both my parents are from New York, and so I feel like I'm part New Yorker, even though I'm not. But is anybody from New York out here? No. Okay.
Well, I can tell you were raised by New Yorkers.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
But see, that's the funniest thing, and it's weird, and it's like, that's why I love like Seinfeld and Larry David, like that kind of humor. My mom's also Jewish, my dad's Italian, so our house was just like, you know, nobody ever could get a word in edgewise. Everybody was talking over everybody, and yeah, so I did. I started in California, and I really stayed there until 4 years ago when I moved to Nashville.
That's cool. So you had the Gramblers. That was a great band, incredible group of guys.
Yeah.
So much fun. You sung with a lot of musicians. You shared the stage like with the Wood Brothers, George Porter. You worked with the man himself, Phil Lesh.
Yes.
As a member of Phil and Friends. But surely your greatest joy, your greatest honor must have been touring with the infamous String Dusters.
You know, you kid, but it was like an incredibly special year. It really did kind of stretch out to be a year of touring. I mean, it was like the focused 3 months in the bus, but then it kind of trickled into a longer period of time, which I was delighted about.
Well, it worked so well, and you were. It was essential for us. We were touring this record that we really loved. This Ladies and Gentlemen project. We needed you, and you had the Gramblers had ended, not or were taking a hiatus or whatever point. The point is you had a little bit of free time, and so once you came out with us, it didn't take long for us to realize we were like, as long as she's cool with this, hanging out on the bus with us and playing these gigs, we should probably keep doing it. And then fortunately, like promoters caught wind of it, and so we got some offers, and you're able to join us at Telluride and a bunch of other great festivals, and that was such a great era for our band.
It was so fun.
It really
was. Fun. That's where I will credit both my brothers, because I feel like they really prepared me for life on the road, being in a bus with a bunch of dudes.
You handled yourself with great aplomb, as they say. You do a very good job of making yourself scarce, which is always admirable in a busmate.
Yes,
and you were usually the first one to bed, and
That's
you were
true.
up and out of the bus and like living your best life during the day.
I
when
think
the
at
rest
that time
of
I
us...
was so excited to be back on a bus. I was like, I can go to yoga. I was finding yoga classes. I was walking. I mean, being in a bus and being in a van, those worlds of touring are night and day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's very unique. Yeah, the band is talking. We're discussing the prospects of going out on a bus again, and I've got a little bit of trauma around it.
Around the bus?
Yeah, I mean, it's living in that tube with 11 people is.
Yeah, 11's a lot. I think
stupid.
8 is like the prime. I don't think 8 is a prime number, but it is the prime number in a bus. That was in my crossword today. I know 7 and 11 are prime numbers, but I don't remember exactly what a prime number is.
It's
not
a number
8.
that can't be divided by anything.
Oh, is that right?
I'm so embarrassed that I don't actually know what it is.
We're not mathematicians, we're musicians. I know they sound similar, but...
Yeah, I mean, music is math, but it's not prime
true.
numbers.
Yeah, especially if you ask Phil Lesh, music is math.
So, speaking of music, you've been writing a lot of music.
Yes.
And it's
Trying.
And it's on topic. That is to say, you aren't writing random ideas. You're writing. It seems like you're really writing from your direct experience. And
for better or worse.
Well, I was going to ask: are you using this as a way to sort of like work through this stuff, or are these song ideas just sort of coming out? I mean, what is the process like? Is it? Do you find it difficult to perform any of this music?
I think that my last record, To Rise You Gotta Fall, I was definitely working through a divorce. I was working through a lot of personal changes and growth and heartache and, all the things that come with, the termination of a relationship. And it wasn't just a marriage, but it was also my writing partner and a bandmate, and it was kind of my world. And I had met him at a very formative time in my life. And so that was a big one. And it did feel really cathartic for me to write, and it was a release. And I've had that experience multiple times before that and after that, which is when I can write a song that encapsulates a feeling, I can kind of put it away. It's like preserved, and I don't have to carry it with me anymore. Right. It's like it's there. And so, it's definitely hard to put yourself out there like that, right? Like I think I got a couple reviews, one that totally squashed me that was like, it's like reading the inside of Nicki Bloom's journal, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Why do you read reviews?
You know, it was a mistake.
Don't you have good people around you to remind you not to do stupid things like that?
No,
I'm sorry.
not at the time. And it was crushing, and I remember it was like the first day touring that record, and I was like, yeah, it was brutal. But, you know, when I can think about redoing, you know, going live with those songs, even if you're past the emotion of it, I started to think of it as service work, right? Because the one thing we have in common as humans is that we all get our hearts broken. I think that there's a statistic that says everybody gets their heart broken twice, but we all do it. Or we break somebody else's heart, which is also really awful. And so when I could think of it as being like service work, like, okay, I'm past this. I've put this in a neat little song, and I'm over it, also with a lot of therapy and time and patience. But, you know, when I could start to think of it after that bad review as like, you know what? This is service work. I want to help other people who might be experiencing the same amount of pain. And if I can give them any bit of solace or just feeling less alone,
Totally.
that was huge for me because I know music did that for me. I mean, I remember playing songs on repeat when I was having breakups, and it was like, it saved me. Music really saved me emotionally. And so if I could do a fraction of that for somebody else, that was reason enough to keep playing the songs.
That's really, that's a beautiful perspective, sort of seeing it as service, because that's actually, and that even seems to me to be like a fairly enlightened way of viewing your sort of role in all of this. And I think to some extent I sort of share sort of a similar perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's like, you know, this profession is so ego-based, and it takes such, like, the self-promotion that it takes is just exhausting, and it's, for me, it's the part I least enjoy. And when you can remove that part a little bit and think of it more as, you know, sharing and having it be more community-based, it just feels better. It resonates more with my heart.
Yeah. You know what helps me too is I don't get so attached to myself as the songwriter of a song. It's easier for me if I think of a song as sort of almost existing in some sense before I help bring it into form. And that allows me to be much less attached to it. Not only if people like it or not, but it also can kind of keep me from getting sort of lost in it.
Yeah, totally. I get that. Although whenever I hear songwriters be like, I don't know, it just came through me. I was just the vessel. I'm like, why doesn't that ever happen to me?
So, in your song, you're going to play it for us later here, Juniper Woodsmoke, you sing about 10 years not being a failure. That's like the bridge on that. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Because that's really how I feel about my marriage, which is, you know, still, from one perspective, still in the process of failing. Yeah. Right? Wow. Or I heard a friend the other day who he just finally finalized his divorce, and he said, I just completed my third marriage.
Whoa, I gotta think about that. I just completed. Oh, right, like
it was his third
it's
marriage.
The cycle, yeah.
And he was divorced a third time, and he completed it. Instead of it was like it
Yes.
wasn't like this. It wasn't like I crashed into the mountain. Yeah. It was like I did the thing. Yeah. It's like the show starts and then the show ends. Yeah. The curtains draw, you know. Yeah. And I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I remember the first time I started talking about my divorce publicly. I was playing a show, and Amanda Shires was opening. It was with you guys, with Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? How's, you know, I think she asked about Tim. How's Tim? And I said, oh, we're actually getting a divorce. And she just looked at me and she goes, congratulations. And I was like, thank you?
Yeah.
And then I remember being like, thank you. Yeah, you know, 10 years with somebody, that's a long time. And so is 50 years, and so is a lifetime. But it's all relative, right? And so, you know, I think that divorce has such a stigma attached to it. And, you know, coming from that Italian, Roman Catholic, Jewish family, it was like, you don't get divorced. I think that my brother, my not so nice brother, said to my now ex-husband before we got married, Fraiolis don't get divorced. That's my maiden name, Fraioli. And, turns out they do.
Turns out they do.
Turns out they do.
This one does.
And it's okay. And it's, the stigma is really real. And I think that, of course, everybody would love to stay married forever and to have it work. And, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think that that's necessarily a failure. I think that it's a completion of the relationship. Because you have to think, especially when there's kids involved, it's like, what kind of example do you want to be setting for love and marriage for your kids? Do you stay together just to stay together? I mean, this is a very hot topic, and I don't mean to, preach about it at all. But in my experience, I have come to a place where I feel it feels better to me to resonate with it as, man, the years that were good, we did a good job.
Right.
And then you move on, and you find other things and better things and maybe more suiting things.
Well, and if you find yourself in a place where you're standing here today, you woke up this morning and you were like, yeah, this is a pretty cool existence, then you can have nothing but gratitude for everything that's come before it.
Yes.
Because that's just how it works.
Yes.
You don't get this without everything that comes before.
That's right. Matthew McConaughey has a new book out.
A friend just gave it to me today.
I'm sure. So, I got it on audiobook, which I love Matthew McConaughey's voice. He has a story in the Calm app that I love, but when he reads his own book, I want to be like, okay, Matthew, just simmer down.
Well, even the way he writes it, I can hear it. You don't have to have him read it. You can read it, and it comes in his voice.
He's basically the character from Dazed and Confused.
He
the
is.
whole book. But one thing that he says that I
he is,
love, I mean, he says a lot of good things in the book, and it's a great book, but the one thing that I love the most is he said, the name of the book is Green Lights. But what he says is, yellow lights and red lights are all green in the rearview mirror. And that's really true. It's like when you get, denied or something doesn't happen or go the way you want, how many times have you been like, man, I'm glad that didn't happen, because if that had happened, I would never have met, I would have never have gotten, I would have never, it's like we have to trust in something bigger, whatever that is, that there's some kind of plan. Because otherwise, it would be way too scary.
Well, and that's the kind of long view that allows you to be in the midst of the shit.
Yeah.
And to be like, well, yeah, this is pretty ugly, but it can't go on like this forever.
Well, that's right.
And knowing that
Temporary.
The same is true for when things are great. I mean, it just keeps going. You talk about last night. You mentioned forgiveness, and you said this cool thing. You says that forgiveness doesn't require two.
Yeah, that took me a while to figure out. Yeah, I mean, I think I got to a place where, especially in my divorce or whatever, maybe you have like a tangle with a friend and you have expectations attached to an outcome, right? Like, oh, maybe he's gonna figure out the ways of his wrongs and he's gonna come and he's gonna, see eye to eye and we're gonna square this up. And, what I really started to realize is that those popular sayings aren't popular for no reason. So you can't draw blood from a stone. I remember when that really resonated with me, and I was like, I have an expectation of a person that they're never going to be able to meet. Never, ever, ever. And I've got to accept that, because if I don't accept it, then I'm suffering.
Well, that's
I'm the
key.
one that's suffering.
That's what you're pointing at, is that if you're holding on to any sort of resentment, there is one being that is carrying the burden of that suffering, and it's you.
Yeah. And I think that when you can accept the way things are, that's when your suffering softens. Acceptance, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. There's like a sweet spot between effort and surrender.
Yeah.
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 And that's the dance.
Yep.
Yeah, forgiveness. It'll set you free, right? So. We maybe sort of touched on this already, but you're someone who's growing. You're continuing to evolve further. Where do you think you're heading, and what's your goal of your purpose, or what orients you?
Now it feels like what orients me is my dog. I mean, I've had a dog for she's about to be a year now, and it's funny. I said something to somebody at some point, and I was like, "Sorry, I'm just." Obsessed with my dog. And they're like, that's okay. There's a lot of other things that are way worse to be obsessed with than a dog. She gets me out. I go walking with her. I've got, a schedule to keep. She keeps me company. She makes me laugh. she also pisses me off, and she does all the things, but I love her, and it's such a pure love, and so that's been orienting me. I don't know. I mean, I'm making a record right now, and that feels really good. I don't know what I'll do with it. I don't know the future of music or what that's going to look like, but it feels good to be working on things and to be creative and to play and to see old friends and, just kind of like put your feet back in the water into the old way of living. But I don't think that, we're necessarily going to go back to normal, and nor maybe should we, because I think we're all seeing that there's this beauty in balance, right? For me, balance, finding moderation is the key. Like, I would love to keep playing shows, but I've also really enjoyed being home and having roots, and I've never stayed in one place this long since probably I lived with my parents. And it's like, I like sleeping in my bed, and I like having a dog, and I like having a garden, and, we've talked about this too. It's like, surely there's got to be a way to find some kind of balance. So that's sort of what's steering me now, is like, how do I, continue on in my life and find some inner tranquility and balance.
Yeah. She agrees. Let me ask you some random questions. You okay with some randomness?
Sure.
All right. If you could spend a week anywhere in the known universe, where would you go?
Oh my God, anywhere in the known universe? Whoa. I mean, I really like Earth.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm like
I just wanted to open up the full
Earth
range of possibility.
sign. I'm a grounded person. I have to say, the thing that I'm missing so much about living in Nashville is my proximity to the ocean. So I would stay on Earth. I really actually would stay on Earth. I love Earth so much. I love the trees. I love the ocean. I love the mountains. I'd probably go, I don't know, maybe to like Big Sur. And so I have the mountains and I have the ocean, and get a little cabin and have my dog, and I don't know, get to eat at the Big Sur Bakery every day. I mean,
That sounds great.
soak in the hot springs and
I kind of feel like I could have guessed that would have been your answer.
yeah.
That's a good answer. What is something that you learned from your mother?
Put on sunscreen every day. Like, she literally, so my mom is a registered nurse. She's also, she grew up as a personal trainer. She was in the newspaper because she used to roller skate in like really cute outfits. And one day they were like, we want you to be in the Contra Costa Times.
Yes.
She had her own aerobic studio. So she really taught me like how to take care of my body, how to eat well. She taught me a lot about nutrition, taking vitamins, but also being the Jewish mother that she is. And I'm 41, and she still says, Nikki, are you taking your vitamins? Are you putting sunscreen on every morning? And I'm like, Mother, you've got to trust that you've done a good job, okay? Yes, I'm wearing my sunscreen.
When are you going to let go? Moms can't let go.
But I do appreciate that. No, she goes, honey, I know I'm trying, but I'm always going to be your mother.
And I'm always going to worry about your skin.
And I'm just like, oh my God. But no, honestly, wearing sunscreen every day, for all the young women out there, do it. Like now, starting, even if it's cloudy outside. It really does make a difference, I think. I mean,
I've done a ton of damage to my nose.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wish I'd worn a lot more sunscreen.
I know.
It's never too late, though. That's a good lesson. We can all learn from that.
Late.
Do you have? Is your grandmother still alive?
So I have two. One of them passed away this year, but she made it to 100.
Holy.
My grandma Fran,
That's
who
awesome.
I just adore. I really, really miss her. And my grandma Vi is going to be 100, and she's still alive. She's going to be 100 in November.
Wow.
I know.
That's incredible.
I know.
You got to be feeling good about your odds.
I mean, but here's the thing. My grandma Fran, every time she would see me, oh, Nick, Nikki. She was so sweet, and every time I would call her, she'd be so happy to hear me. And I know that she wasn't happy to hear everybody on the other line of the phone, but she was always happy to hear my voice. And she said that it was great up until her 90s, and she said her 90s sucked.
Yeah,
So is it a blessing? I don't know.
My grandmother is deep into her 90s, and when I call her up, I can tell that like she can't see very well, so
Yeah.
she has a hard time like watching TV. Like she can't read. She's kind of just like she's kind of getting bored, and she's a little bit like my grandfather was, where he was kind of like my grandfather. Like he was like, essentially like on his deathbed and just kind of waiting, and he was like. He kept saying, like, maybe God's got some other gig, like some other thing for me to do. Like, maybe my mission's not done. He's like, because I can't figure out what the heck I'm still doing here, And I often wonder, like, that it must, I hope that I can see how that feels to be 95.
You want to grow old?
I don't see any harm in it. I don't expect to.
Yeah.
And I'm not attached to it. But I don't see why that wouldn't be interesting. But I could see the 90s might be tough.
Well, you have kids too, so at least they'll come visit you. See, I don't have any kids, and Birdie will be dead by the time I'm 95. So I just have to keep getting dogs, I guess.
Yeah, that's a common method. Yes,
Yeah.
we got some dog lovers in the house. This is a simple one. What color is your front door?
Red.
So is mine. That's awesome. What do you hope for?
Well, I probably, the thing I'm working on right now, like I kind of talked about earlier, is just finding balance, inner tranquility, really that. Like, there's so much chaos happening in the world in so many ways, and the currents, I mean, I can ruminate like no other. One little grain of sand. I mean, if my ruminations turned to pearls, I would have strings of them all over myself. So really my hope is that I can find a more peaceful inner landscape, and I'm working on it. I'm actually doing a yoga teacher training right now, a 200-hour yoga teacher training.
Amazing.
Not that I'm going to be a yoga teacher, but I'm hoping that it helps me get some life skills and just ways to move through life, because it's so beautiful. And like I said, I do love Earth so much. And my grandmothers are both, one lived to 100 and the other is well on her way. So I may have...
You may have a lot of Earth left.
I may have some Earth left.
You may have some Earth
Knock
left
on
in
wood.
you.
So, I want to move that through that with intention and perspective and a little tranquility. That's my hope.
I hope that for you too. I honestly hope that for everybody.
I hope that for everybody.
I mean, that's something that I'm getting to where things like I would like a bumper, an inflammatory bumper sticker, and I could go on and on about like, if I might digress for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I cannot understand this phenomenon where you could put anything on your car, and you put some statement that is intended purely to piss off people that you don't know and that you'll never meet as you drive around. It's purely just to infuriate and insult people you don't know. And I cannot understand for the life of me why people do that.
You're going to love Matthew McConaughey's book. He talks about bumper stickers the whole way through it.
Oh my God. It really bothers me when you see these like, even like it used to be like you'd see like a truck and it'd be like a Chevy truck with Calvin minterating on a Ford symbol.
Yeah, that was...
And then there'd be another one with a Ford minterating on a Chevy symbol. And I just like that. It's like the human equivalent of some monkeys in a cage, angry, hurling shit at each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know the bumper sticker I like? I like the coexist bumper sticker with all the different symbols, and it's just like, man, remember when we could just like tolerate each other?
Well, that's something that I'm finding.
I don't know if we ever could, actually.
Well,
that's another hope that I have, is tolerance.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I'm finding that like I'll see these inflammatory things that would usually, I won't say triggered because that's not the right term, but like elicit a response in me, and instead of being like, what is that? It's more of like oh, bummer. Like I feel like compassion for people who are so angry and so upset and so confused, whereas I used to feel like there needed to be like some sort of oppositional force against whatever it may be.
But then don't you kind of just wish that like your biggest concern was like Ford's better than Chevy? Like that'd be such a great place to live in. Just like that's what I care about.
That's that. You wake up in the morning and you're like, God damn them Ford drivers.
Yeah.
Can't believe they're
That
still out there behind them
sounds very
Fords.
refreshing to me.
You're like not worried about anything but truck.
Yeah.
What are you? Is there anything that you're afraid of?
Well, what I'm afraid of is just a breakdown of like humans being able to communicate in a meaningful way. You know, I think that I'm feeling a little bit of, you know, I have different political views than my family, my parents, and the last 4 years have been challenging, and we've been able to navigate it, and that's with people who love each other.
Right.
So like,
Who have everything to gain
yeah,
and everything to lose by not connecting.
right. We respect each other a lot, and we're able to hear each other, but it's still like tender, and it just the willingness to listen to each other. I have tried really hard to become a better listener because, like I said, in my family, we were always trying to get a word in edgewise, right? Like somebody's talking and you're not even listening, you're just thinking about what you're gonna say. Like I've been really trying to just be a better listener because it's hard. And when you think of the people that you love the most, they're usually good listeners, you know, because they care. So I fear us just having a communication breakdown as humanity. That's what I fear.
Further communication breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of that too. Let's end this on a happy note. We got to take the show up a little bit. It's a happy hour after all. What is it that makes you happy, Nikki?
Birdie.
Yes, dog lover.
My dog. No, what makes me happy, I mean, getting out in nature. I've just been so delighted that Travis invited me out here. It's just such a beautiful part of the country, and got to go hiking in Brevard yesterday and see the waterfalls and being in nature, and that makes me happy.
You know, Brevard is only 5 hours from the beach.
Is that true?
That's another reason why it makes it one of the greatest places in the world to live.
Whoa.
I'll help you find a place. You just let me know.
It's a hard sell. I mean, not that it would be hard for me to do it.
Yeah.
It is a very beautiful, beautiful place.
Well, we're so grateful that you joined us here tonight. So happy to have you. Everybody, that's Nikki Bloom. Thanks, Nikki.
Yeah, thank you. Is it my turn to sing?
It is. I'll turn the floor over to you, but I do want to say really quickly, just a quick reminder that you know, we're entirely donation driven, and the band and the house and the staff and the crew and everybody is paid. We only get paid if you contribute, if you tip, and if you donate, and we really appreciate your ongoing support. The model is working, but it demands that you guys help us out a little bit. So you can do that through PayPal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo @TravisBook. I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about. Oh yes, one other thing I wanted to mention. String Dusters are playing we're playing this really cool place called the Van Hoy Farms in Harmony, North Carolina later in April. We're doing a couple nights there, and we're experimenting with pods and getting people out and trying to see if we can play some shows. So we would, if anybody's within driving distance of Harmony, North Carolina, we would love it if you would join us for that. Okay. And now, Nikki, take it away.
Okay.
Make us happy. Everyone, Nikki Bloom.
I saw Mary and a woman come running to the city to talk about the man she saw. She took a picture and went to the well. The water she intended to draw. Well, the stranger she met there, she didn't know where he came from, but it told her every single thing she had done. Oh, blessed my soul and was gone. The stranger was getting heat in the CD. He was standing off an angry mob, defending a woman who'd been caught in the very act of adultery, of pity and mercy she saw. She said, "He who is without sin, cast the first stone." And then he raised up from the fire, over accusing they were gone. Gave a smile, blessed my soul, and was gone. Her friends in town asked her, "Do you know the man?" She said, "No, I never saw him before." They asked her, "Well, didn't you get his name?" She said, "He didn't tell me, and I don't know. But whoa, when he spoke, my soul, it caught on fire. And I remember this day till the day I die." He walked by, blessed my soul, and was gone.
Wow, Nikki, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Birdie's okay.
Oh my God, that dog.
She scratched me.
She scratched you? Did she jump on you?
We were having fun.
She's very cute, but she's very pushy.
Yeah.
I mean, these herd dogs, you know. Does anybody have a herd dog, like a border collie or an Australian cattle dog? Yeah, they're crazy, right? Totally, totally crazy, but the best. And I will say she loved going on the hike yesterday. It was about the best thing that you can do for him is just run him ragged.
That's exactly right.
Well, are we gonna do Juniper Woodsmoke?
Yep.
So this is the song Travis was talking about. It's new, and like he mentioned, it is about some forgiveness. But really it's about just kind of looking back and reflecting on the challenging times without bitterness and with some gratitude. All right, shall we?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woke up this morning, you were on my mind. Thought about calling and to ask myself why. We had a good thing for a long time, but that ship has left the shore. Yeah, I could call you, but it won't be what it was before. I sit and remember those evenings in the desert. Juniper smoke and the touch of your hand. We lay for hours under the falling stars as they soar. Yeah, I could call you, but it won't be what it was before. Who says it's a failure? 10 years ain't worth nothing. And I got a whole lot of something from the memories we made. Though we may never ever settle the score, it don't matter, 'cause it won't be what it was before. Who says it's a failure? 10 years ain't worth nothing. And I got a whole lot of something from the memories we made. Though we may never ever settle the score, it don't matter, 'cause it won't be what it was before. Oh, what a difference a day makes. We played last night for the first time, and it's nice to have a little time together to play.
Rehearsing is good.
Rehearsing is good.
Live rehearsal.
Yeah, especially now that we're jetting out to the interweb.
Totally. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, this is a song that's on my most current release, To Rise You Gotta Fall. It's called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Because it is okay not to be okay, as we are learning. And Travis, I just have to give you a lot of credit for being vulnerable and talking about real shit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's very important. Vulnerability is a strength, and you know, when somebody says like, "How are you doing?" I have intentionally stopped saying, "Good, how are you?" and being like, "How am I? I'm not that great. I'm tired." I'm, you know, validating our own feelings and knowing that they're fleeting. Shall we?
Yep.
numbers you could have dialed. Well, I'm out in the wild. Sometimes I feel like a child. Did the bloom leave the rose when you took off your clothes? I felt the distance when you slept, hurt your feet as you cried. Oh, I secretly wait, but it's okay, it's okay, it's okay not to be okay, darling. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay not to be okay. I walked the rainbow down to the gold. When I got to the end, it'd been sold. Where you put me on hold, darling, you're so cold. But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay not to be okay, darling. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay not to be okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I say, Nikki, it's okay not to be okay. I do a lot of talking in the mirror. Do you guys do that? You're like, no. I would actually recommend it. Like, eye contact with yourself, talking to yourself, right? Like, we're developing a relationship with ourselves because ultimately, we're kind of stuck with ourselves.
Oh yeah.
So you better be your own best friend, right?
You gotta get into it.
You really do. But isn't it crazy how we would never talk to our best friend the way we talk to ourselves? You know, like the shit you say to yourself, you would never say that to your friend.
Yeah, you can't trust your mind,
No.
man.
Like I said, you're gonna love Matthew's book.
It'd be a lot cooler if you didn't trust your mind, man.
Well, yeah, this is a new song. I wrote it with my friend AJ Croce, and we were both coming out of different heartbreaks. And I said to him, "Yeah, man, it's just hard to meet people. Hard to meet people." And he was like, "Oh no, it's not hard for me to meet people. I've got a line after the show at the merch table." And I was thinking to myself, why didn't that happen to me? I was like, oh yeah, totally. And he's like, but I don't know what to do with it, you know? Like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm not ready to, you know, get involved with somebody. And I was like, well, AJ, you can have love without commitment. I said, it's called dating. You know, it's something you forget if you've been married for a long time and you're newly divorced or you're middle-aged, you know, and you don't know what to do with singledom. Dating. Turns out, super awkward, weird. And my heart goes out to all the middle-aged daters out there. I was one, and it sucked. But there's hope. There's hope.
There's hope.
All right.
There's always hope.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't give you what you want if that's alright. So if you stay with me tonight, I apologize. Hey, but if you're wanting something real, you gotta know just
That's Nicki Bluhm, Mike Ashworth, and Tommy Maher. We're going to take a short break for our partners, and we'll be right back with some more music.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is supported by Thompson Guitars, maker of fine instruments, handmade with love in Sisters, Oregon. The crew at Thompson carries on Preston's legacy with handcrafted guitars, enjoyed by some of the finest players on the scene. More at pktguitars.com. This episode of the Happy Hour is brought to you in part by Tree Realty, working with buyers and sellers in the Telluride and Ridgeway, Colorado region. Tree Realty welcomes the opportunity to assist with the sale or purchase. Kristen Hughes founded Tree Realty in 2010 and has been helping people buy or sell in the beautiful San Juan Mountains of Colorado for over 20 years. More at treerealtyllc.com. You can view this and every Happy Hour episode anytime at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. The Happy Hour returns April 7th with a tribute to the late, great Tony Rice. And now, back to your host, Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you, House Band. That sounds great. Mike's back there playing this Telecaster. Before we play a little bit more, I want to tell you this Telecaster. I bought this Telecaster, and I bought it partly because I was obsessed with electric guitar for about 7 days. But I also knew that if I didn't end up keeping this thing, that we'd do something cool with it. So I think we're going to work with Cand-Aid, and we're going to try to auction this thing off at the end of the season. We're going to sign it. The house band's going to sign it. We're going to try to raise a little bit of money for Cand-Aid. They do great stuff with music and instruments and kids in schools. So look for that. The Happy Hour Telecaster will be available.
You make it sound good. I like me a telly.
I like me a telly.
I like when good guitar players like you play a telly. It's no good in my hands. You're more than a drummer back there. How about it for this band? I am very honored to get to play with them. Truly.
I'm honored to play next to you, Nikki Bloom. Truly.
Mutual.
We'll do a few more tunes here. This is one that I wanted to play. Nikki's gonna sing it with me. It kind of has to do with what I was talking about way back at the beginning of the show. Lost, alone, the cost, too much to pay on your own. Your faith is gone, can't find your way home. I will lead you home. Afraid of the day, ashamed of feeling this way. Faith is gone, you can't find your way home. I will lead you home. You've been asking for the reasons why, to
denying what you feel inside. I'm alright, nothing's wrong, it's a never-ending song. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Faith is gone. You can't find your way home. I will lead you home.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So Nikki was touring with us back with the String Dusters years ago, and she was doing it in support of this record that we made called Ladies and Gentlemen, which is a really interesting concept, I thought, where we felt like one of the things that the String Dusters was missing was the feminine. It's a very masculine band, 5 dudes playing bluegrasses. There's not a lot of the female energy, but we were writing music and wanted to make music with some amazing women. So we contacted all of our friends and we made this whole record, and then we had to go out and we had to tour it. And Nikki, I was lucky enough that Nikki sang one of my songs on the record. And so
I was lucky enough to get to be in such incredible company, not just you guys, but all the other women on it. Sarah Watkins, Aoife O'Donovan. I mean, I was really, really just grateful to be in that kind of company. And also, I just thought it was so selfless of y'all to write all these incredible songs and then not even sing them yourselves. Like, if I wrote songs that good, it'd be hard to give them away to somebody else to sing. So it was not only fun to sing your song, but on the tour I got to sing a bunch off that record. And man, if you don't know that record, it's so good, and the songwriting is so incredible, and the women that are on it are just top notch. I don't know how I landed there, but hey, I did, and it was fun as hell.
yeah. Sorry, Mike and I were trying to figure out what he was playing. I know why you landed there, because you were the only person who could handle the gig. You're the only person who could sing all those songs and put up with all of us.
Right. Well, again, thanks, brothers. Thanks to my brothers for preparing me for a life of music with men.
Is that bass going? It's called Still the One. Sorry, I'm distracted. I have trouble with this bass thing.
Well, you know what's funny too is right when you asked me to sing this song, I was like at the beginning of my divorce, and I was thinking how ironic it was that I'm singing this, and I was like, no, I am a interpreter of goodness.
I thought you did pretty well. I was worried that it was going to be a hang up for you, but you're a pro.
I mean, and also like you can compartmentalize, right? And you can remember when you did think that way, you know? So I think that there's a lot of interest in interpreting somebody else's songs. There's such great interpreters. I think Linda Ronstadt's probably the best one. And she's been a great example. Birdie is now trying to interpret.
Birdie wants in.
She does. God. I got to teach her to sing so I can just bring her up here and put her to work. Or sell merch. I don't know.
Yeah, teach her to just sit still and be quiet.
She would. She might.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
2 count. 1, 2.
When I was young, when I was brave, you took my hand and I took your name. Together we walked into the night, side by side under the moonlight. I had my doubts, you had them too. Push them aside, that's what people do. Things that we did, all things left undone. You're still with me, and you're still the one. falling. No way to slow them down. Sometimes I hear you calling, even though you're not around. Comes from within, comes from above. Whatever it is, it's all about love. We can't be far from where we began, can't be too far from where it will end. Sometimes the rain starts falling. Slow them down. Sometimes I hear you calling, even though you're not around. When I was young, when I was brave, you took my hand and I took your name. Things that we did, yeah, things left undone. Well, you're still with me and you're still the one.
All right, we're going to do one more. Nikki's going to lead us through this one.
Yes. So I haven't been able to teach Birdie how to sell merch yet, but I did bring some records. So it is Total Honor System. They're out there on your way out. I put up my Venmo and PayPal, and there's vinyl, and there is CDs. And if you would like to leave with one, please just do so.
And I assume you have an online store?
I do.
NickiBloom.com.
Yes.
NickiBloom.com, NickiBloom.com.
NickiBloom.com. My website is being refreshed, so if you wait till next week, it'll look even better.
I did catch a misspelling in there today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't say anything, though,
God.
until now. I guess I did say something. I was going to say I'm glad I didn't say anything because you're going to change it, but now I've made
Yeah, I'm going to change it. And I'm also going to try to start a Patreon account. So if you want to follow me on social media, I'll tell you about it there. Thank you so much for having. Oh my God, you guys. Birdie. She's like a demon. Birdie. You should just introduce her.
Yeah, she wanted to. Would you like to introduce her?
Are all the doors closed? I mean, yeah, sure, let her out.
Bill, let her out. Let her loose.
God knows what she's gonna do. Birdie! Birdie! Hi! Hey, girl! Hi! You wanna sit? Birdie, sit. Birdie,
Okie dokie.
Okay, just don't feed Birdie.
Oh my gosh, you guys, all right. If I mess up this song, it's because I'm distracted. Hi,
You
baby
got this.
girl.
She'll be happy as soon as you start singing. I'm sure she'll come perch right on your lap.
Okay, so this is the title track off of the record back there, To Rise You Gotta Fall. And it was the first song that I wrote that was hopeful, out of a place of despair. And so, to rise, you gotta fall. It's like the yin and the yang, you know? You don't know what's happy unless you're sad. It's like, we gotta experience it all to get gratitude. Otherwise, it's just like, you know, flatline. That's dead. All right, here we go. Amen. One, two.
was 18. When you walk into the garden gate, you're bound to get bit by a snake. Guess you don't know love without a little heartache. Oh, how can you know good till you know better? If you're looking for love, get ready to get hurt. Oh, you can't win them all, and to rise you gotta fall. So I went down to Salinas to find work and to clear my head. Got a job as a hired hand when the harvest time came near. But the dirt went dust and the crops dried out. If you don't get to market, there's no payout. Guess you don't praise the rain until you had a drought. Oh, how can you know good till you know better? Oh, you're gonna find pain on your way to pleasure. Oh, but it's the bumpy roads that lead you where you need to go. Oh, and bring you home. All right, Tommy, here we go. So I went looking for some perspective, and I knocked on my mama's door. My heart was filled with sorrow, and I collapsed right there on the floor. She said, girl, you best not cry any longer. Life is cruel and it just gets harder, but what doesn't kill you makes your story longer. Oh, she said, how can you know good till you know better? Oh, if you're looking for love, get ready to get hurt. Oh, life's a hurricane, but the magic's what remains. Ain't no rainbow without a little rain. Yeah. Oh, how can you know good until you know better? Tell me, if I knew what I know now, I'd write me a letter saying you can't win them all, and to rise you gotta fall. Yeah, to rise you gotta fall. To rise you gotta fall. Ooh, to rise you got to fall. To rise you got to fall. To rise you got to fall. To rise you got to fall.
Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning into the happy hour. We'll be back after this. We're going to take a short 30-second break for our sponsors. We'll be back with one last song. Thanks again for tuning in.
Birdie, come. Come on, man.
The Travis Book Happy Hour airs live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in live on Facebook or watch previous episodes anytime at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. T-shirts, hats, and more sporting the Happy Hour logo and the Happy Hour motto It's Okay to Be Happy. Available now at the TravisBookHappyHour.com. The Travis Book Happy Hour is written and produced by Travis Book. Sound engineer is Andy Eubanks. Video produced by John Zara and I Am AVL. The voice you're hearing belongs to Bill Kabilis. The guests, house band, host, crew, and Ren are paid through the generous support of viewers and listeners like you. Contribute right now or anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo at TravisBook. The Happy Hour is grateful for our partners, I Am AVL, The Gray Eagle, Americana Vibes, Preston Thompson Guitars, Area 22 Guitars, Tree Realty, Upton Bass, Grace Design, and WNCW. Please support the businesses that support the Happy Hour. The Happy Hour returns April 7th with a tribute to Tony Rice, featuring John Stickley, Lindsay Pruitt, and Sean Lane. And now, back to your host, Bertie and Travis.
Thanks, Bill. Welcome back, everyone. Birdie's taking the stage. This has been such a great night. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for coming here. Thanks so much. Eternally grateful to the Great Eagle for being willing to host this. And yes, we're back. We're back in a month with tribute to Tony Rice, and it looks like there will continue to be tickets available if you'd like to join us in person. We're going to leave you with a little bit of bluegrass, because why not, right? Ready?
Almost.
I believe it is. Check me. Yeah! Finally got the bass switcher right. We'll get this down. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for being here, all y'all. You're the best.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you all. All right,
Yes,
we're gonna.
thank you all for being here. And hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom is right. All right, this Jimmy Martin song called "Hold What You Got."
Yes.
Ready? A 1, 2, a 1, 2. Well, when I get back, honey, I ain't leaving. I've been too lonely, been too much grieving. When I get back, this time I'm gonna stay. Well, we won't fuss and we won't fight, and this time things are gonna be alright. If you hold what you got, I'm coming home to stay. Hold what you got, I'm coming home, baby. Hold what you got, and I don't mean maybe when I'm thinking about you, and I'm on my way. Don't sell the house, don't wreck the car. Stay there, honey, right where you are. And if you hold what you got, I'm coming home to stay. Take it, Tommy. That's a mighty good sign that I need you. That's why I can't wait to get back home. So squeeze yourself real good and tight. This time things are gonna be alright. If you hold what you got, coming home to stay. Hold what you got, I'm coming home, baby. Hold what you got, and I don't mean baby, I'm thinking about you, and I'm on my way. Stay there, honey, right where you are. And if you hold what you got, I'm coming home to stay. Take it again, Tommy. got coming home to stay. Thank you all for tuning into the happy hour, the Travis Book Happy Hour. Donate or contribute anytime. PayPal.me/TravisBook1. Or buy Venmo at Travis Book. Good night, everybody. It's okay to be happy.